On the shores of the Sea of Galilee, a crew of seasoned fishermen had just spent a long, dark night, failing completely. And these weren't amateurs, they were pros, men like Simon Peter, James and John, who owned their own boats and had spent their entire lives learning the rhythms of this very lake. Yet after hours of casting and hauling, with their arms aching and spirits sinking, they'd caught nothing. Their nets, which should have been heavy with the silver flash of tilapia or sardines, came up empty, time and time again. In their world, a fruitless night of fishing wasn't just bad luck, it was a professional and personal humiliation. They were masters of their craft, yet all their expertise had brought them was cold, empty water. As dawn started to break, painting the sky in shades of grey and purple, a figure appeared on the shore, just a silhouette against the rising sun about 100 yards away. A voice carried across the water, asking a simple question that cut right to the heart of their failure. Friends, haven't you any fish? After a humiliating night of catching absolutely nothing, 7 professional fishermen get a bizarre command from a stranger on the shore. Throw your net on the right side of the boat, he tells them, and you will find some. Exhausted and skeptical, they do it anyway. What happened next was a miracle. The net was suddenly so full of large fish, they couldn't even haul it into the boat. But hidden inside that miracle is one specific detail that has fascinated historians and theologians for 2,000 years. The Gospel of John doesn't say they caught a lot of fish. It says they caught exactly 153. Why that number? Why not 150 or just a great catch? What if this single specific number holds a secret that scholars have debated for centuries? Why were there exactly 153 fish? The story, from chapter 21 in the Gospel of John, is one of Jesus' appearances after his resurrection. Having already seen the risen Christ, the disciples had, for a moment, gone back to their old lives, back to the familiar grind of fishing. This miracle wasn't just about catching breakfast, it was a powerful reminder of what they were really meant to be doing. As they dragged the bulging net toward the shore, the disciple John was the first to realize who the stranger was. "It is the Lord," he said. Hearing this, Peter, in a flash of impulsive faith, threw on his clothes and jumped into the water to get to shore. When they got to the beach, they found Jesus had a charcoal fire going, already cooking fish and bread. He invited them to bring some of the fish they had just caught, a gesture of letting them participate in the miracle. And then we get the detail that has launched 2 millennia of investigation. Simon Peter dragged the net ashore, full of 153 large fish. The author even adds another miraculous detail. And although there were so many, the net was not torn. The specificity is just staggering. In a book filled with profound spiritual truths, why include such a precise, seemingly random number? The very fact that it was recorded, that the disciples apparently took the time to count every single fish, suggests the number isn't an accident. It's a deliberate clue, left for the reader, inviting us to dig deeper. Some scholars argue it's just a historical detail, meant to show how real and massive the miracle was, a testament to Jesus' power. But for many of history's greatest minds, from ancient church fathers to modern mathematicians, that simple answer was never quite enough. They believed that hidden within the number 153 is a key to unlocking the miracle's true meaning. One of the most popular and enduring theories comes from the brilliant 4th century scholar, Saint Jerome. Jerome, the man who translated the Bible into Latin, was deeply immersed in the knowledge of the ancient world. He proposed a fascinating theory based on the science of his day. According to tradition, Jerome believed that ancient Greek and Roman zoologists had catalogued all the known species of fish in the world, and that this number was supposedly 153. While no surviving texts from the 1st century confirmed that exact number, if it were a commonly held belief, the meaning would have been instantly clear. The catch of 153 fish wasn't just a random haul, it was a symbolic catch of one of every kind of fish in existence. The miracle then becomes a living parable. The disciples were called to be fishers of men, and this catch symbolized the massive scope of that mission. Their work wasn't just for their own people, but for all the nations of the world, for every species of person to be gathered into the church. This theory gets even stronger when you remember that other key detail: the net didn't break. For early theologians, this was a powerful symbol of the unity of the church. It would be strong enough to hold all the peoples of the earth, from every nation and background, without tearing apart. In this view, Jesus wasn't just performing a miracle, he was giving his disciples a visual of their mission, a tangible promise that their work, when guided by him, would reach the entire world. But what if the answer isn't in biology, but in math? Many ancient cultures, especially in Jewish tradition, used a system called Gematria, where each letter of the alphabet has a corresponding number. This means every word has a numerical value, which can sometimes reveal hidden connections and deeper meanings. When ancient scholars played with the number 153, they found some mind-blowing connections. For one, 153 is what's known as the 17th triangular number. That means if you add up all the numbers from 1 to 17, 1 plus 2 plus 3, all the way to 17, the total is exactly 153. So why is 17 important? St. Augustine of Hippo, another giant of Christian thought, suggested that 17 represents the merging of the 10 Commandments, 10, and the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, 7. For him, 153 symbolizes all the people who will be saved by living a life that combines obedience to God's law with the grace of his Spirit. The puzzle goes even deeper, connecting to the Old Testament. In Ezekiel chapter 47, a prophecy describes a life-giving river flowing from God's temple, where fishermen will line the shores from Ein Gedi to Ein Eglaim. Using Hebrew gematria, the numerical value of Gedi is 17. The value of Eglaim is 153. It's a connection that seems too perfect to be a coincidence. By recording 153 fish, the gospel writer could be showing that Jesus is the true source of this river of life. Others have pointed out that in Hebrew gematria, phrases like the sons of God can add up to 153, turning the catch into a quiet declaration of Jesus' identity. While the symbolism is profound, we can't forget the story's immediate human heart. This miracle is a bookend. At the very beginning of Jesus' ministry, he performed a similar miracle for Peter after another failed night of fishing. That first time, the catch was so big the nets began to break, and it caused Peter to fall to his knees and say, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." That moment led directly to Jesus calling him to become a fisher of men. Now, fast forward. It's after the resurrection. Peter has denied Jesus 3 times next to a charcoal fire, and here he is again, in an almost identical situation. He's failed all night, but this time, when he obeys, the nets are full, but do not break. And on the shore, Jesus is waiting, again, by a charcoal fire. Instead of a lecture, Peter finds breakfast and a chance to be restored. This second miracle isn't a repeat, it's the lesson completed. The first time, Peter was crushed by his own inadequacy. The second time, he has learned to trust, and he literally leaps into the water to get to his Lord. The catch of 153 fish is a powerful confirmation of Peter's calling. Despite his epic failure, his mission isn't over. Jesus is showing him that his work, when done in obedience to him, will be successful, complete, and all-encompassing, like an unbroken net holding every kind of fish. It's a story about grace, showing that failure is never the final word when you follow the one who has authority over everything, even a school of fish in the Sea of Galilee. So, what's the real answer? Is the number 153 a symbol for the global church, a complex mathematical code linking prophecy to the divine? Or is it just a reporter's detail, meant to prove that a miracle really happened? Maybe the genius of the number is that you don't have to choose. The best stories often work on multiple levels at once. And this one is a historical account, a symbolic prophecy, a mathematical marvel, and a deeply personal story of failure and grace, all rolled into one. What's undeniable is that the number makes you stop and think. It tells us that the details matter. For a boat full of professional fishermen, a catch of 153 large fish was irrefutable proof that the man on the shore was someone extraordinary. It reminded them, and it reminds us, that in the grand scheme of things, nothing is random. It suggests a divine order where every single person is known, counted, and valued. The miracle wasn't just about an abundance of fish. It was about the abundance of grace, showing that even after your worst night, a single act of obedience can lead to a result so miraculous and complete that it could only have come from God. What do you think is the most compelling explanation for the 153 fish? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed unraveling this ancient mystery, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the secrets of the past.